All right, here's the deal. Do Chelsea have enough healthy players to play 60 matches this season? All right, Chelsea fans, so here's the deal. We're looking at upwards of 60 matches across 4 competitions this season, and we got to figure out, now that the rosters are locked, will these 37 players be enough? Not only to finish the season, to finish the cups that we need to do, could we actually win something this season? I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely not predicting it outside of the Conference League. Even then, no big deal in my eyes, right? We have way bigger things going on in the team, but we got to react to what we have. So ahead of the UEFA Conference League, it's really important to know that there are squad requirements there that are very different than the 25-man Premier League squad, and I want to break down both sides of it. But before we get into that, I have some predictions, as I want you to put yours in the comments below. I said at the top, about 60 matches. I'm thinking around 57 to be exact if I had to kind of put money on it, and here's how I get there. So in the Conference League, you've got 6 group stage matches. Those run between October 3rd and December 19th, and it's all different opponents. This is very different from your Europa League and Champions League. So once the league phase has been completed, 24 of those clubs, it's in a table style. Essentially, the top 24 clubs are going to go to the knockout phases in predetermined positions based on their ranking at the end of the league phase. Long story short, the knockout phase could be 8 to 10 matches because there is a play-in round, which would be where the extra matches come into play. So let's say we win it. Right? That's 6 group stages plus an additional 8 gets you to 14. Okay, great. Now we look at the Premier League. That's fixed. You know you're going to play 38 matches, right? So let's see. That puts us at 52. All right, so now we're getting real close. And we've got the FA Cup and the EFL League Cup, also known as the Carabao Cup. So in the FA Cup, I think to average these two out, I'm putting 4 matches. That would get you to the quarterfinals without a replay, right? And that would get us to 56 matches. And then with the League Cup, you've got another 3 matches, gets you to the quarterfinals again without a replay. That puts you at 59. I think we're going to come up a little bit short in the Conference League, is we're just going to knock off the two and gets us back to 57. So that's my number. You let me know in the comments what you think. But you can easily see how it gets to 60 because I put quarterfinals for both domestic cups. So that's a lot of matches to be played, about 10 per month, roughly across the 6-month season, 7-month season. So there's going to be busy with the Christmas and the festive fixtures, Boxing Day, all that fun stuff. We'll have to see how this team can juggle because Enzo Maresca has picked 2 very different teams for this one, and this is important. So I jumped into The Athletic, great friend of the pod, Liam Toomey, and he broke down the UEFA Conference League squad requirements. So to keep it simple, you can register up to 25 players on your A list and unlimited on your B list. Now, they may sound exciting. It's really not. So on the A list, a minimum of 8 of the players have to be locally trained, which is considered like homegrown, right? They have to be association trained in England or club trained. They've got to be registered with the club for 3 full seasons between the ages of 15 and 21. In the past, Chelsea have had no issue with this because the Cobham influence, right? Now that we've continued to sell players like Conor Gallagher and loan players like Trevor Chalobah and now even Armando Broja. You think of Lewis Hall going to Newcastle, Tino Livramento going to Southampton, Mason Mount going to United. There are a lot of Cobham players playing in the Premier League that are not with Chelsea. So this actually gets to be a little bit trickier. So with that being said, you can, if you have less than 8, then actually your 25 goes down. And then you can't have a 25-man roster. You might only have a 23-man roster. So you are penalized if you don't have 8 homegrown players. And then for the B list, which is unlimited, it's not that exciting. It's actually, they just have to be born on or after January 1st, 2003, aka U21. And then they have to be eligible to play for the club for 2 uninterrupted years after their 15th birthday or 3 consecutive, yada, yada, yada. I'm already bored. Long story short, B are going to be your young players coming up. That's all you need to know. So with this being said, Chelsea could only submit 17 players on their A-list who are not locally trained, and they did so without including Fofana. So following the summer departures, like I said, of Connor, Trevo, and Broya, and even Alfie Gilchrist, there are fewer than 4 senior club-trained players in Maresca's first-team squad. So one thing that is unique is after the group stage, when we make it to the knockout stage, we will have an opportunity to make 3 changes. Now, with players like Palmer and Fofana and Lavia not in this list, they could make that change. So at the initial onset, I'm like, good. I actually appreciate the heavy squad rotation. We should be able to get through these teams with the squad that we have picked, without Palmer, without Fofana, without Lavia, no problems, right? Knowing that we can bring them back in for the knockout rounds. I think this is the right call in terms of how we built this squad, right? So then you look at the Premier League squad requirements, right? Which is each club must contain no more than 17 players who do not fulfill the homegrown player. And based on Liam's reporting, right at 17. And then the rest of the squad will be made up of a total of 25 players. And so this squad was announced, and we know exactly who it is. And then a club's under 21 players are not included in the 25-man squad list and are eligible to play, which is, again, why the sporting directors are obsessed with these young players, especially domestically, right? Like Cole Palmer, I think Nani Madueke checks that box. It's kind of like a loophole, right? And I think they're more excited about the players that don't count towards rosters and things like that than is actually really necessary. But hey, play dumb game, win dumb prizes. So just to kind of level it out here, we've got the Premier League squad, which is comprised of 4 goalkeepers: Bettinelli, Sanchez, Bergstrom, and Jorgensen. Now, for the Conference League, Bettinelli's the only one that's dropped. Doesn't really help much within that, and they're traveling with 3 goalkeepers. So on the defensive side, you've got Premier League: Disasi, Cucurella, Badiashile, Chilwell, Reece James, Colwill, Gusto, Fofana, Akiampong, Adarabayo. A bunch of center backs, some left backs and right backs, right? Out of that group, only going to the Conference League are Disasi, Cucurella, Badiashile, Reece James, Malagusto, and Adarabayo. Now, Levi Colwill is actually on the B list, right? He's young, homegrown, all that. So he comes in on the unlimited list. Same thing with Akiampong. So they're still there, but they don't count towards the total. So then we get into like the midfielders / wide attackers. In the Premier League, you've got Enzo Fernandez, Halo Mudryk, Carnes Chukwuemeka, Palmer, Caicedo, Cassidy, Lavia, Kellyman, Dewsbury Hall, and Vega. So now you've got 10 players that are listed as midfielders, but again, is Mudryk really? Not really. So Kellyman again, a little bit. Viega could be considered a defender, but the fact is you got these 10 players. Now, again, most notably, Cole Palmer is not in this squad, nor is Romeo Lavia or Omari Kellyman. Kellyman, fine, right? We're going to figure out to see what kind of role he even plays with this team. So to me, doesn't really make a difference. And then your last attackers for the Premier League squad, rounding out your 25, you've got Noni Madueke, Nico Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, David Washington, Tyreek George, Alex Matos, Mark Guiu, Neto, Joao Felix, and Jadon Sancho. So then that gives you your final 10 as well. So look, there are, I guess, and being left off the squad is just David Washington, Alex Matos. You've got Tyreek George, who's on the B squad, and then actually Keno Dyer, Harrison McMahon, and Max Merrick are also B squad players that are listed. So in total, you've got 4, 5, 6 B squad players. So again, it's set unlimited. It's really not that unlimited. So the big names missing would be Romeo Lavia, Cole Palmer, and obviously Chilwell, but then Fofana. Those would be the ones that you're probably going to surprise some people and maybe not be included. Now, again, remember, Chilwell is included in the Premier League squad. So what does this mean? This means we have 37 different players included to complete these 60 matches. We know the Premier League's a gauntlet. We know outside of a really good run at the end of last season, it was not a good season. We've got more players that have come in, more players that have left, including the player who wore the captain's band almost all season. We're off to a decent start in the Premier League, right? So there's things to feel optimistic about. But again, when the Conference League starts to come in, you're traveling all over Europe, right? Like this isn't your top 5 domestic leagues where a short trip to Spain, to Germany, a little bit longer to Italy, right? One to France. Now you're going all over, right? And it's going to be longer travel days, travel back, things of that nature. And those are going to kick off here pretty quick, right? October 3rd. We're only a couple weeks away from that. So with everything said, I have huge questions about what we can really accomplish, especially in those domestic cups. I mean, as we look to prioritize everything, like Enzo Maresca's won domestic cups. He's won league titles as a player. He won the championship last season. I think he's won the PL2 with City's Youth Academy. What do you think his priority is from the co-sporting directors? We talked about this a lot last season with Poch. Was it top 4? Was it winning a trophy? Like, what was the aim that he gave? And he was a little bit cryptic about it all season. No, it's a project, right? How many of you have heard that? It's a project. Well, here's your real project. Your project is to go win something, is to make the fans proud of this team again, because it has been a while since we've had anything to really celebrate. We're back in Europe, albeit the Conference League, which is such a low level that we've rested our best player from not even being on that squad. What does this season look like? And if it has to be success domestically. I really don't think fans are going to be overly thrilled. I don't think supporters are going to be overly thrilled by lifting the UEFA Conference League trophy. Nice to have, sure. Only team to have won them all, sure. But at the end of the day, being able to go toe-to-toe with the teams in the Premier League is most important. And I just don't know if we've got the team that's quite there yet to do it. Again, at the weekend with Bournemouth, good character, saving a penalty, getting the goal with an impactful sub than Kunku. But up until that point, like, what did we have going on, right? You got a lot of players that aren't fit. Jadon Sancho needs to get up to speed. Pedro Neto needs to get up to speed. Reece James with a hamstring injury setback, but he's included in the Conference League. Like, do you need him in that competition to win it? Well, now we realize Malo Gusto has some fitness concerns as well. So we have no right back, which means you need both of them on there just to make sure you have ideally somebody ready to go and healthy in that squad list. So again, let me know in the comments what you think. Top 4, domestic trophy, Conference League, like, what are the priorities? And based on the fact we have a heavily rotated, and albeit already young team in the Conference League, do you have any concerns we're going to get through the group stage? I don't have any concerns, but I could be an arrogant former Champions League winning fan supporter that just doesn't take this competition seriously. So we'll see what Enzo Maresca and squad do. But hey, that's it for me. Let me know. Top 4, trophy. Do we have the right squads? Hey, only time will tell. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun season, Chelsea fans.